Hi guys, welcome to Statistics Online. Today we are going to look at marginal and conditional distributions, and today we have notes, which is like activity. I give you the activity and the notes kind of like the same thing, but we're not really collecting any data. I'm just giving you information if it says notes, and then you got homework, so let's get started. All right, so I would highly recommend, and I know it seems like a lot, but I would copy this two-way table down or screenshot the screen and use a tool that you can kind of write on it. It'll really help you in organizing for tests and quizzes and your homework as well. So it won't take very long. I pause this video, copy this down or screenshot or however you want to organize yourself. Okay, so this two-way table, or we could also call it a joint distribution, is we want to interpret it. So let's first off take a look at what it is trying to compare. So we have the percent correct, so 0% to 100% correct, and time studied in minutes. So these are students in a class and what their score is on their test here, and then across the top is how many minutes did they study. If you notice in the corner here, we have a total of 200. So that means that there were 200 students in the class total. And so if we take a look at all of these students were basically put into like buckets. So let's say one student's score fell in the interval of 80 to 100, and they studied 41 to 60 minutes. So there were 16 students that fell into both of those conditions, and so 16 out of 200 students scored between 80 and 100 and also studied 41 to 60 minutes. Now, one way to interpret a two-way table is to look at the marginal distribution. So the marginal distribution is based on the percent correct for the total. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the right-hand side where it says totals. And so the first listed is 40, and so 40 students out of 200, right? 40 of them received a score on the test of 80 out of 100, regardless of how many minutes they studied, right? So marginal is just looking at the totals margin. And then we can look at marginal distributions as points, as listed here, or as percentages. So if you take a look at 40 out of 200, just simply divide those numbers, move the decimal, and you get 20%. 60 students scored between 60 and 79, so 60 out of 200 is 30%, and so on. We can also do the same for the other margin right here. The totals is the time studied in minutes. So if we look across here at these totals, 14 students, right, out of 200 studied between 0 and 20 minutes before the test. 30 students out of 200, they studied between 21 and 40 minutes for the test. And we don't have percentages down there, so let's go ahead and add them. So 14 out of 200 would be 7%. 30 out of the 200 students would be 15%. 86 out of 200 students would be 43%. And 70 students out of that 200 is 35%. Now, again, you can look at the distribution of numbers, the marginal distribution, as points, as listed here, or as percentages. Another idea, another way to interpret a two-way distribution is by looking at a conditional distribution. Now, this is the same exact two-way table, except if you'll notice this time, I have a condition that's highlighted. I put a box over students who studied 41 to 60 minutes for the test. So 16 of the students out of 86, right? Out of 86 students who studied between 41 and 60, 16 of them got a score of 80 to 100 points on the test. and 30 students who studied in between 41 and 60. Out of 86, 30 out of 86 scored between a 60 and a 79. So this is a conditional distribution. And it is standard practice that with conditional distributions, we go by percentages instead of by points. So let's look at the distribution of the time in minutes spent studying from 41 to 60. So 16 out of 86, which those are the students who received a test score of 80 to 100. That is 18.6, let's round to the nearest tenth, 18.6%. And then we have 30 students. I said 86 and I wrote 18. You notice that? Oh my goodness, Miss Wakefield. So 16 students out of 86. 16 out of 86, that condition is 18.6. So 30 students out of 86. Those students who scored a 60 to a 79 on the test, that would be 34.9%. And I wrote a 4. All right. So then the next would be 32. So 32 out of the 86 students, right? 32 out of the 86 students who fell in this category of 41 to 60 minutes received a score of 42.59, and that would be 37.2%. Next would be the 8 out of 86 students, and that is 9.3%. And then we still need to include that 0. 0 students score between 0 and 19 who study between 41 and 60 minutes. So 0 out of 86 is 0%. Okay, so we're going to have lots of different practice for marginal and conditional distributions over the next several days. And let me know if you have any questions as you're going through the homework. And I hope you guys are having a great day. All right, see you next time. Bye.